Okay, so I wanted to update everybody about what's happening, and things have been really, really bad. So I've been getting a lot of false information. For example, today, I got an email saying that apparently I cannot reverse any decision from the lower court to dismiss a file in lower court, which is completely false because I know for a fact, for example, if there's a temporary order placing a child, since this is a family court, I'm going to be using family court references. So for example, if there's an order place, a temporary care and custody order placing a child in somebody's care, and then you're appealing that order that there's a wrong decision, and the when you go to the higher court, in whichever court that may be that is making the decision to review and see if the decision was correct or not, um, if the court finds that the decision was wrong and they reverse the decision of the lower court's judge that that child does not need protection and does not need to be placed in another person's care, then that they dismiss the lower court's decision, and then they send the file, they close the case, and the child comes home. So, and when the court reverses a decision of, say, temporary care and custody order, that the in lower court that file no longer moves forward to trial management, trial, and etc., all of those things, it ends over there. So basically, if the higher court looks at a decision and finds that the decision is inappropriate, which is and something that is against the law, they can reverse the decision of a lower court and dismiss the lower court's file in a way that there would be no other steps to be taken in lower court, which is the case right now, is because the lower court's judge can no longer make a decision due to conflict of interest. But the fact that I'm getting all of these emails, giving me all of these emails that is being sent to me, it's very scary that how many people may be involved in child trafficking. I know my ex-husband, he's not a very wealthy person, so the fact that somebody is going out of their way to provide this kind of information, it's not, most likely is not for monetary gain unless somebody else is paying on his behalf. And the fact that this could be a serious hate crime, and that in the long term, that this is not a healthy environment for my son or me, if a person who doesn't know anything and saying these kind of information, sending out this kind of information in writing, which is very, very, very scary. So the point of what an appeal is that when a lower court, so there's different courts in Ontario. So the bottom level is Ontario Court of Justice, then it goes to Superior Court, then goes to Divisional Court, then goes to Court of Appeal, and then it goes to Supreme Court. So when you don't agree with the decision that was made at a lower court, you go to the higher court. So basically, that I don't agree that that they didn't uh, dismiss the file. Like, I didn't agree with that because there's no further steps to be taken. There's no the laws are not being followed properly, that they're required to get an extension of time and a retrial, and the fact that there's a conflict of interest, so this judge will no longer be able to make a decision on my file. So that decision needs to be reversed. It needs to be determined if there's any other way of proceeding and receiving a final judgment. Now, I already emailed the CS councils and all the councils that are involved on this file and asked them, like, can you tell me, is there any way, like, who's going to make the final decision? How will this case end? And nobody has been able to provide a single explanation, a single law, nothing. So this is a huge waste of time, and the fact that I'm currently worried. Okay, so another thing, I was hoping that I would get an urgent first hearing date, but unfortunately my hearing date is not until October 20th, so which is like a little bit over a month away. So my son's not coming home for a pretty long time. So right now I'm just worried that these people are gonna run their scam for the next like whatever month that they think that they may get hold up with their ego, or they're losing sight of the reality of the action is that a child needs to be returned back in the care, like, but that's not the main issue. The issue right now is that when these people get hung up with their ego, they have to break every law there is, and ask other people to come and join them to break the law for them, instead of actually understanding like why you're doing, like why we are in this entire situation to begin with. So right now this is about me getting my son back. And the fact that I'm kind of worried right now that these people are going to run a scam hearing or something, come up with BS like that, and improperly take actions. And this is very scary, and I don't want to like go through like various different court to get my son back. This is a freaking nightmare. This is not how it should be for a parent to live in Canada. This is a very unhealthy, very toxic environment where these people are lying to keep a child away from their mother. I mean, how serious is that? Like, these people are not in touch with the reality of what they're doing. This is not about like what's right and wrong. This is not about the law. Like, these people, they just want to win so bad that they're forgetting that they're in this to make sure a child has a better future, a better home, better education, better upbringing, and all of that. But that's not the point here anymore. This is all about that we are gonna prove all the wrongs that we said. We are gonna force that onto you and try to make it look right, which is extremely, extremely bad. The point of an appeal is that you can appeal a temporary order, you can appeal a final order, and at the hearing they decide to see the judgment of the lower court was right or wrong, and then either they send the file back to the lower court that, okay, you know what, this decision was wrong, but we are moving forward, or that this decision was wrong and there's no further things to do in the lower court, so this file is closed. That's the point of an appeal. But the fact they're saying is that, like, this is the first I've ever heard that when that you cannot, like, when a final decision is made at a higher court, the lower court's file still continues or does not get dismissed or whatever. Like, this is the first time I heard something like that. Like, I was at a temporary care custody hearing in December last year. If my file was closed at that time, there wouldn't be any need for a trial. All of these delays would have been gone. My son would have been back in my care last December. But that got delayed because the judge didn't believe what I was saying. And then at the trial, my position from this very first custody hearing till the trial day has been the same. My story hasn't changed, so it has been a huge waste of time to delay proceedings for like so long. But the main thing is that the information that I got today is completely false. And the fact that I was given to me, that's like really scary, because I don't know what these people are gonna come up with at the next court hearing. But I know for a fact that when you are, for example, like I said earlier, if you are appealing a temporary care and custody order and the higher court decides to reverse the order of the lower court, the lower court's file does not continue anymore. That gets dismissed when the higher court finds the decision was wrong, and there's no need to continue that file at the lower court anymore because there's no further steps to be taken. So the higher court makes the final decision to end the case and reverse the lower court's decision and end the lower court's file. So that's what an appeal is. So I know that the order that I'm appealing right now is wrong. It violates several law, and by the time this even goes to the first hearing, which would be next month on October 20th, by the time it even goes there, it will be 8 months since the trial was held. And I know for due to conflict of interest, even after 8 months there will not be any decision. And that's just the first hearing, and then after that the appeal hearing will likely be a month or two later. And like, so that would be like about 9 or 10 months after the trial was held. And I can guarantee you, due to conflict of interest, there's not gonna be any judgment on that either. So why are we